I like Westerns because the good ones are real.
Randy Meisner never wanted the spotlight.
Randy never knew how great he was. He wasn't alpha. Confrontations were really hard for him.
The kid from Scottsbluff, Nebraska, who ordered his first bass from a Sears catalog.
Met Don and Glenn down at the Troubadour, just bumping into each other. And they had asked me to play with her up in San Jose, little did I know.
Who sang Take It to the Limit, so high and pure it felt like watching someone's soul leave their body.
Beautiful faces in loud empty places.
Who left the Eagles at their peak because the pressure was crushing him.
The Eagles in mind kind of forming a group. We didn't know it was going to be the Eagles at the time.
Randy was the quiet one, the one who stood in the back. Let others take the bows. But quiet doesn't mean empty. Growing up on a Nebraska farm in the 50s and 60s, Randy watched the same movies everyone else did. Saturday matinees in small-town theaters, late-night television after long rehearsals. The faces that flickered across those screens shaped him as much as Elvis and Conway Twitty shaped his sound. Randy understood something most rock stars never learn, that acting and performing are the same art wearing different costumes. That James Dean and Elvis were doing the same thing, reaching for something authentic while cameras rolled. This list isn't about celebrities, it's about connection, about the actors who showed a shy Nebraska kid that you could be vulnerable and still be strong. Let's count them down. 10. Steve McQueen. McQueen was Nebraska's idea of a movie star. Quiet, tough without proving it.
But the moment I became a movie star, being an actor is a gas. Being a movie star is a pain in the ass.
Randy grew up watching The Great Escape, The Magnificent Seven, Bullet. McQueen never wasted words. Let his eyes do the talking. That's something Randy understood. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. McQueen played men who kept their pain private, who carried weight without complaining. That's Midwestern to the core. Randy spent his whole career watching frontmen grab attention while he held down the low end. McQueen showed him that supporting roles have their own dignity, and that the guy who doesn't need the spotlight is often the strongest one in the room. When Randy left the Eagles, people called him weak, said he couldn't handle the pressure. But walking away from fame takes McQueen-level courage. Knowing your limits, honoring them, that's the quiet strength Steve McQueen represented. 9. Clint Eastwood. Eastwood and Meisner shared something essential: economy. Not a wasted note, not a wasted word.
Westerns, as far as the Hollywood trend is concerned, but
Randy watched the good, the bad, and the ugly at drive-ins.
It would also need to embellish Eastwood's vision of the harsh Western lifestyle.
Saw Eastwood do everything with a squint and a pause. Eastwood understood that less is more, that holding back creates tension. Randy applied this to his bass playing, never overplaying, always serving the song. Eastwood's Westerns appealed to someone raised on wide-open spaces, those landscapes where men worked hard and talked little, where your word meant everything. Eastwood played characters who'd been damaged but kept going. Randy related to that. The music business damages everyone eventually. Some people become bitter. Others, like Randy, just get quieter, keep their dignity. Eastwood showed multiple generations that stoicism isn't the same as coldness. 8. Paul Newman. Newman had what Randy admired most: authenticity mixed with vulnerability. Cool Hand Luke, Butch Cassidy, the hustler. Newman played rebels who weren't trying to be rebellious. They just couldn't fake who they were.
He did what he says about national priorities and what the national mentality.
Randy understood that. He joined the Eagles wanting to make music, found himself in a machine. When he sang Take It to the Limit, he meant it literally. Newman's characters often hit their limits too, pushed until something broke. But Newman brought warmth to his roles. Even playing anti-heroes, you trusted him. Randy had that same quality. People who worked with him always said he was genuine. No rock star attitude, just a Nebraska farm kid who happened to play bass incredibly well. Newman proved you could be a leading man and still be humble, could have blue eyes that women loved and still be one of the guys. 7. Robert Redford. Redford represented something Randy saw in the California dream: golden, effortless, but with intelligence underneath. The sting, The Way We Were, All the President's Men. Redford made it look easy. That was the trick. Randy made his high harmonies sound effortless too. Nobody knew how hard he worked, how much it cost him physically. Redford played men who were smarter than they seemed, who observed before acting. Randy was the same way in the studio. Glenn Frey and Don Henley dominated conversations. Randy listened, learned, added his parts with precision. Redford also aged with grace, didn't try to stay young forever. Randy respected that. He watched too many musicians desperately clinging to their youth. Redford showed you could walk away from the spotlight when it felt right, could build something meaningful outside fame's glare. 6. Jack Nicholson. Nicholson was in California in the 70s. Easy Rider, 5 Easy Pieces, Chinatown, the era when Randy was living in Laurel Canyon, when the troubadour was the center of everything. Nicholson embodied that moment, loose, dangerous, free. But Nicholson also played men on the edge, characters who smiled while falling apart. Randy knew that feeling intimately, standing on stage singing perfectly while anxiety tore him up inside. Nicholson made vulnerability masculine, let his characters crack without apologizing. Randy never had Nicholson's swagger, but he understood what Nicholson was expressing, that American men are taught to be strong, to never show weakness. But the pressure builds. Something has to give. Nicholson's performances gave Randy permission to admit when he was struggling, to say, "I can't do this anymore." That takes more courage than pretending you're fine. Nicholson taught that to millions of American men who needed to hear it. 5. James Dean. Dean died 9 years before Randy formed the Dynamics, but his ghost haunted every young man who picked up an instrument in the 60s. Rebel Without a Cause, East of Eden, Giant. 3 films, a lifetime of influence. Dean showed Randy's generation that sensitivity wasn't weakness, that young men could be confused and angry and tender all at once. When Randy was a teenager learning guitar in Scottsbluff, Dean was the template. How to be cool, how to hurt, how to want something you couldn't name. Dean's famous scene in Rebel where he screams at his parents, that raw emotion. Randy carried that same confusion into adulthood, trying to figure out where he fit. The Eagles became a family, but families are complicated. Dean played sons disappointing their fathers. Randy felt he disappointed Don Henley and Glenn Frey by leaving. But Dean also played men who had to choose themselves over others' expectations. That's what Randy did when he left the band. Dean only lived to 24, never got old, never compromised. Randy got older, made compromises, but he never forgot what Dean represented. That first burst of youthful longing before life beats it out of you. Dean froze that moment forever on film. 4. Henry Fonda. Fonda was Randy's father's generation. The Grapes of Wrath, 12 Angry Men, Once Upon a Time in the West. Fonda played American decency, men who believed in doing right even when it cost them. Randy's parents taught him those values on the Nebraska farm. Show up on time, keep your word, don't lie. Fonda embodied that Midwestern morality on screen, but Fonda also played men ground down by systems. Tom Joad fighting for migrant workers. Juror number 8 standing alone for justice. Randy related to that. The music industry is a system. It eats people. Use them up. Fonda showed that maintaining your integrity in corrupt systems is heroic, even if nobody calls you a hero. Fonda's quietness spoke to Randy too. Fonda never shouted, never grandstanded, just stated the truth simply. Let the words carry weight. Randy sang the same way. No vocal gymnastics, no showing off, just pure emotion delivered honestly. Both men understood that authenticity doesn't need decoration. Fonda aged into wisdom. His later roles carried decades of experience in every line of his face. Randy hoped to do the same, to grow older with dignity, to let his life teach him instead of fighting it. Fonda showed that path was possible. 3. Marlon Brando. Brando changed everything. On the Waterfront, A Streetcar Named Desire, The Wild One. Before Brando, actors performed. After Brando, they lived. Randy watched Brando the way he listened to Motown bass players, studying technique, trying to understand how someone makes art look that natural. Brando mumbled, paused, looked away from the camera, broke every rule, changed all the rules. Brando showed Randy that you could be tough and broken simultaneously, that masculinity contains multitudes. The famous scene where Brando's Terry Malloy talks about being a contender, that vulnerability. Randy felt that about his own career. He could have been a contender. I had talent, but he was too nice, too Midwestern. Let others take credit. Brando played characters who made mistakes, who failed, who kept trying anyway. Later in life, Brando became difficult, refused to play the game. Hollywood turned on him. Randy understood that too. When you stop giving people what they want, they forget what you gave them before. But Brando didn't care. He'd already changed cinema forever, proved that actors could be artists, not just pretty faces reading lines. 2. James Stewart. Stewart was Randy's number 2 for one simple reason. He was proof that nice guys exist in show business. It's a Wonderful Life. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Stewart played decent men in indecent worlds, men who doubted themselves, who stuttered, who struggled, but who ultimately did the right thing. Randy saw himself in every James Stewart character. Stewart's George Bailey has a breakdown in It's a Wonderful Life. I think he's failed. I want to disappear. Randy had those moments, dark nights when success felt like failure, when the pressure of performing crushed him. Stewart showed that those moments don't define you, that community and love matter more than achievement. Stewart served in World War II, flew combat missions, came home and never talked about it, just went back to work. That Midwestern humility. Don't brag, don't complain, do your job. Randy learned those values from his parents. Stewart reinforced them on screen. 1. Gary Cooper. Gary Cooper is Randy Meisner's number 1, the ultimate quiet American. High Noon, Sergeant York, The Fountainhead. Cooper barely spoke in his films. Let his presence do the work. Randy saw himself in that restraint. Cooper played heroes who didn't want to be heroes, men who'd rather avoid conflict, but who stepped up when necessary. That's Randy exactly. High Noon is Cooper's masterpiece. A marshal abandoned by his town has to face killers alone. Everyone tells him to run. He stays because it's right. Randy faced his own High Noon in the Eagles. Everyone told him to stay, to push through. He left because his health demanded it, because integrity meant more than fame. Cooper taught that walking away isn't cowardice, it's courage. Cooper won 2 Oscars, became one of Hollywood's biggest stars, but he never changed. Stayed humble, stayed real. That's what Randy wanted, success without losing yourself. Cooper managed it, worked in Hollywood for 30 years without becoming Hollywood. Remained the Montana kid he'd always been. When Randy thinks about the actor who best represents his values, it's Gary Cooper. Quiet, strong, honest, doing the work without needing applause. That's how Randy tried to live. That's why Cooper is number 1. Randy Meisner never chased stardom. These actors showed him you don't have to. That quiet dignity matters more than loud fame. That walking away takes courage. If this list resonated with you, subscribe for more. And remember what Randy and these 10 actors proved. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is admit your limits.